how can I say
I
mezcla?
get desperate. I get desperate, or it gets on my nerves. It gets on my nerves. You can also say that phrase. It gets on my nerves.
Yeah, it
It
gets
gets
on
on my
my
nerves.
nerves, and yeah, that's all I
Okay.
can say.
Uh, Let me ask you something, guys, Mitch and Mickey. Do your family members have a long life expectancy? In other words, what is the typical life expectancy among your family members that you remember?
Mm,
What do you mean?
for
Yeah.
example,
Do they live long or they don't live long? For example, my grandfather lived 85 years and his wife lived only 62. And on my father's side, it was opposite. My grandfather lived 58 years and my grandmother lived 92. So the life expectancy was very uneven, was not even, but uneven, fluctuating. What about
yeah.
in your families?
Well,
Well, mm,
probably we don't have a lot of diseases, but my our grandfather lived 80, 88.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
All
No,
right.
80, 88.
88. That's your dad's father, right?
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Grandpa Antonio, I think was his name. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he lived 88. Okay. How about, yeah, and his wife didn't live too long. I remember that.
We didn't meet her.
You didn't. You didn't. Okay. And on your maternal side,
Uh, Fortunately, they're alive.
they are both alive. Oh, that's fantastic. And you know their approximate ages, they must be in their 70s, right? I guess 75, I suppose.
Um, my grandma, I think that she has 80, 80 years old.
Wow, that's fabulous.
Yeah,
That's
and my
fantastic.
grandpa, I think that he's a little bit younger. He has 77 years old.
Wow, that's fantastic. This
Hmm.
is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great that people can live this age. This is fantastic because then there is a good life expectancy in the maternal side. Well, why do I ask you this question? Because there is a fantastic book which I don't know. I think you recommended this book, Mickey or Mitch, or somebody recommended me this book.
The Blue Zone.
Yeah, The Blue Zones: Lessons for Living Longer, from people who've lived the longest, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, um, how long would you like to live? That's a weird question and difficult question to ask to very young people like you guys. But actually, that's what young people, because I was young at one time also, that's what we want to think of the least. We don't want to think about aging and becoming old and living long ages. We just want to think of having fun, and that's normal because we're young, right? I mean, I was young, you are young now. But
Mhm.
do you ever think about how much would you like to live? You don't think about
Mm,
that, right?
yeah.
Mm,
Well,
Maybe
yes.
uh, hopefully more than 80.
More than 80. Okay, Mitch, more than 80. What about you, Mickey?
For me, depending. For example, if unfortunately I get how can I say enfermedad? How can you say it?
Sick? You get sick or you get a disease?
Yeah, if I get a disease, um, and that affects to my way of life, probably just until 70 or 65.
65. But you're very
You?
healthy, right? You do sports, you eat well, you sleep well, you have a
I
good
try.
lifestyle, right? So it is likely, likely that you will live at least the same or more or less the 70 to 80, right? 70 to 80 or more.
I hope so.
Because
Yeah.
what is the life expectancy of a Mexican? Can you find that out in the internet, please? I think we saw that one day, remember? Life
Yeah.
expectancy. Life
Let me check.
expectancy in Mexico. Life
Uh, uh,
expectancy.
um, I have good information. 75 years.
Certified. But is that for men or for women? Because women
Mm,
live longer in the world in general.
yeah, I'm not sure. Let me search.
Male. Okay, male or female? Male and female. Let's see.
Mm,
Probably it's like mm, like average.
I know that women live longer,
Yeah.
78 years for women and or 77 years for women. It's going down a little bit in the recent years. But normally women live 3 to 5 years longer than men in general in the world. That's in the world. So 75 for men and 78 for women. So the life expectancy in Mexico is 75 for men and 78 for women. You know why women live longer, right? In general.
Mm, no.
No? Why do you think women live longer, Mitch?
maybe because currently the men's have jobs or works more physically that can hurt them.
More
Those.
physically demanding?
Mhm. Currently, the who in the last years that thing changed a little. Well, the women's oh boy, they are integrating to that kind of jobs too, but the men's are majority
Men.
also.
Okay,
Mhm.
men. So men live under. Okay. Do you think also, Mickey, Mitch, that women normally, in general, live under less stress than men? What do you think about women, Mickey? Do you think they live with less stress or with more stress?
That
Mm,
depends. Mm, the people get stressed for a lot of stuff, not just for the work. Well, uh, f- firstly for the work, but maybe I think it depends of each person, uh,
Right.
how to get their stress in some ways.
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah. Yeah, Mickey. Yeah, thank you, Mitch. Thank you.
well, I think that is like subjective because probably uh, years ago the woman only dedicates to clean the house and make the food and the stuff. And now the woman, a lot of women works in in enterprises and that stuff. So I think that probably the stress is almost the same between one another.
Could be, right? Because of the parity of jobs, like Mitch and you are saying. I agree with that. So the gap should be closing up between men and women, right? Did you know that most of the casualties in Mexico are due to the coronary diseases? Coronary diseases. And after that, the second case is, I believe, diabetes. The second cause of deaths in Mexico is because of coronary diseases. And coronary diseases are the direct result of overstress, high pressure, high blood pressure, and overstress. So most people in Mexico die as a direct or indirect influence or excess stress, which is not good for men or women. So, well, yeah, that is true. But then the secret of living longer. The other day I made a joke, and I came to a class and said I'm very very stressed. Why? Because Maria Ines broke up with Jorge Federico, right?
Hmm.
I was saying, what do you mean? Yeah, in the soap opera. You
Ah,
know what a soap opera?
yeah, yeah,
Marinés look up. I don't know who Marinés is or who Jorge Federico is, but in the soap operas, uh, they say, "Oh, I broke up with such a guy," right? And then people come to the class very stressed up because something happened in TV, right?
yeah.
When in reality, there are more important reasons to be stressed up, right? Or in reality, if we take life more uh, with more wisdom, we would be making jokes all the time and not being so stressed out all the time for meaningless things. Sometimes we get stressed out for meaningless things, things which are not supposed to be so dangerous or so serious,
Yeah.
and we we get stressed unnecessarily. Is that word? We get stressed unnecessarily. Unnecessarily. I think. I'm not sure what you think about that, but okay. Now the question that I wanted to ask you guys before we go into our reading of the day is, what do you think makes people live longer?
Uh,
Um,
Healthy habits.
Okay, healthy habits. Like which one?
Drink water, enough water.
Yes. What else?
Um, have a balanced diet.
Have a balanced diet. Yes.
Do exercise.
Do exercise
I think.
Sleep well.
Regularly.
Regular.
Regularly.
Yeah, sleep well.
Eat okay. Eat well. Yeah. Eat well. That's
Sleep
very important.
well. Eat well is the same that have a balanced diet, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
No, we said sleep well.
Ah, sleep well. I'm sorry. I didn't. I
Yeah.
didn't hear. Sleep well. That's crucial. Absolutely important.
Mm, could be uh, take vitamins.
Vitamins. Okay. Yes.
Mm,
Mm, trying to try to don't stress out.
Try not to stress out. All right. I am pretty sure that all what you said is going to be in our book. Probably. I'm sure that most of these, if not all, will be here. Let's read a little bit about the truth about living longer. Do you
Yeah.
want to start, Mitch, please? The
okay.
truth about living longer, please.
Mhm. When Ponce de Leon landed on the northeast coast of Florida on April 2, 1513, he was searching, it's been said, for a fountain of youth, a five-well sprinkle of water that could bestow everlasting life. Historians know there was more to the story to the reason the Spanish explorers set out to investigate lands north of the Bahamas was probably because Spain had reinstated Christopher Columbus San Diego as military governor, effectively removing Ponce de Leon from the office. Ne- nevertheless, the legend behind Ponce de Leon's Bojack stuck. What means Bojack? Bojack.
Voyage. The
Voyage.
trip. The trip. The trip. The trip of Ponce de Leon, who was an ambassador to the Christopher Columbus trip, got in with no mobility, right? Okay, thank you, Mitch. Let's continue, Mickey, please. Magic
Yes, sure.
source.
The idea of discovering a magic source of long life still has so much appeal today. 5 centuries later, that charlatans and fools perpetuate the same boneheaded quest, whether it comes disguised as a pill, diet, or medical procedure. In all-out effort to squash the charlatans forever, Demographer S.J. Olszewski of the University of Illinois at Chicago and more than 50 of the world's top longevity experts issued a position statement in 2002 that was as blunt as they could fashion it.
Okay, just this one more. Mickey, please, this paragraph.
Mhm. Our language on this matter must be unambiguous. Big word. There are no lifestyle changes, surgical procedures, vitamins, antioxidants, hormones, or techniques of genetic engineering available today that have been demonstrated to influence the process of aging.
Well, I don't know. It's getting controversial, right? I don't know if we agree or not with that, but let's see what they say. Let's continue all this section. Mitch, please, can you?
Mhm. How to discover whether a
No, the
break
bruto.
is
I'm sorry,
at
the brutal reality. I'm sorry.
the brutal reality about what means aging.
Aging, becoming old. I am aging every day. Every day
Okay,
I am becoming older.
okay. About aging is that it has only an accelerator pedal. We have yet to discover whether a brake exists for people. The name of the game is to keep from pushing the accelerator pedal so hard that we speed up the aging process. The average American, however, by living fast and furious lifestyle, pushes that accelerator too hard and too much. This book is about discovering the world's best practices in health and long- longevity and putting them to work in our lives. Most of us have more control over how long we live than we think. In fact, it's per se that if we okay have the right lifestyle, we could add at least 10 good years and suffer a fraction of the diseases that kill us prematurely. Uh, this could mean an extra quality decade of life. To identify the secrets of longevity, our team of demographers, medical scientists, and journalists went straight to the best sources. We traveled to the Blue Zones, four of the healthiest corners of the globe. We are remarkably. Can you scroll down a little, teacher?
Yes.
More. Okay. Remarkably high rate of the longest living people manage to avoid many of the diseases that kill Americans. These are the places where people enjoy up to a 3 times better chance of reaching 10 than we do. That
Okay.
100 that we do.
Thank you very much. What changes when a person ages? In other words, why I know that being young is great, but what are the things that change when people get older? What changes when people get older? That's a philosophical question, but it's a question that we all have to face sooner or later, right? So, well, the question is, what changes when people get older?
Mm,
Mm,
Probably the
the,
energy,
The
like
energy level, absolutely. Yes,
energy
yes,
level.
yes. What,
Uh,
what else?
the muscle decrease.
The muscle mass decreases. Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah, the
type
muscle
that down.
mass decreases.
Okay,
um,
I think that the voice changes too.
voice changes.
Mhm.
organs start to fail.
Organs start to fail. Yeah, that's true. The first thing that fails is the sight. You start seeing worse. Yeah, or hearing
Yeah.
worse or smell. Yeah, that's true.
Probably you start to get different diseases.
All kinds of diseases.
All kinds of diseases.
Yeah, I mean, some people are healthier than others, but normally, yes, we get sick more often, or people get sick more often, depending on the age, on the health condition. Exactly. What else? Yeah, these are all true things. This is just the truth. What else?
Mm,
What about the motivation for working or doing projects? Do you think motivation also decreases in
Yeah.
general? Yeah, motivation
Mhm.
decreases. And that is connected
Because
with energy, right? If you have more energy, you have more drive to do things, more energy to do things.
yeah.
If you have less, well, normally you're gonna have less energy. I'm sorry, I get back to heat up my coffee. I'm sorry, guys. I'm
Mhm.
traveling all over the school to heat up my
Huh.
coffee.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's an important question because the issue here is how can we're talking about the longevity of people, right? How can we make those things last longer? In other words, if we're going to lose some drive, if we're going to lose some energy, how can we maintain our energy levels much longer, which is what you're saying here, right? Muscle mass decreases, okay. How do you compensate for that? Or how can you prevent that? Or how can you extend that? Let's talk about that.
Sleep well,
Say that again, Mitch, please.
sleep better.
Sleep better, better, right?
Um, Eating enough protein.
Eat enough protein, okay.
Um,
Maybe
Taking steroids.
steroids. Drink or eat?
Mm,
Take
well, there are both.
steroids. I don't know if it's spelled like that. Steroids. I
Yeah,
think
but I
it's
read that when yeah, normally some people, well, old people, some of them take steroids to maintain their
muscle
energy,
mass. Okay,
their muscle. Yeah.
okay. Now, how do you compensate for energy decreases? When energy decreases, how do you maintain your high levels of energy? Well,
Could be taking vitamins.
take vitamins. Right. What about the voice? How do you compensate for voice changes? That's a
Uh,
hormonal thing, right? Or not?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a hormonal issue.
I believe it's a hormonal issue. Organs start to fail. Well, what do you do about that?
Well, you need to take care of yourself since time ago, not only in your last years.
Exactly. So that is preventive care, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
preventive care.
preventive care.
hmm
And people start getting all kinds of diseases, which is true.
Well, I think that the same. Take preventive care
Right, take preventive care.
because if you are healthy, probably you don't gonna have all type of diseases or just a few, but not
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 all
so
of them,
many. Yeah,
exactly.
not all of them.
And then motivation decreases. How can you maintain a high level of motivation, high level of drive?
Well, I think that when you constantly are learning something new, I think that maintains you motivated.
Cons- Constantly to maintain yourself motivated, right? I believe
Yeah,
those are great advices. Those are great ideas, guys. Mich and Miky. Okay, thank you very much. And so you can maintain the quality of life that
yeah,
you deserve, right? People want to have a good quality of life normally.
yeah.
Let's talk about the secrets of longevity. The secrets of longevity. Who wants to read from here on, please?
Me?
Okay, thank you.
To identify the secrets of longevity, our team of demographers, medical scientists, and journalists went straight to the best sources. We traveled to the blue zones, four of the healthiest corners of the globe, where a remarkably high rate of the longest living people managed to avoid many of the diseases that kill Americans. These are the places where people enjoy. Well, we read that, right? I think that
Ah, we read this. Yes, yes, yes.
yeah.
3 times better. Okay, good. So continue with this here, please, Mickey.
Mhm. In each of the blue zones, we used a survey developed. in collaboration with the National Institute of Aging to identify the lifestyle components that help explain the area's longevity. What the inhabitants choose to live,
Inhabitants, yes. Yes.
how much physical activity they get, how they socialize, what traditional medicines they use, and so forth. We looked for the common denominators, the practices, the practice found in all four populations, and came up with what I consider to be a cross-cultural distillation of the best practices of health, a de facto formula for longevity.
Okay. So we're about to read. Is not the magic wand to be to live longer, right? But it's just an idea of how people can live longer in the different blue zones. They call blue zones to cities or places where people live longer. Like for example, in Italy, I have a friend who's an Italian lady and she's 92 years old. 92. Today she is 92 years old today. She turned 92. And you see this lady is a fantastic woman. She is very active. She's a little bit chubby. She's short, has blue eyes. All the time she's smiling.
Hmm.
She is a fantastic lady. She has suffered all kinds of maladies and problems and situations. She was bombarded in autobus when she was in Rome, not in Rome, in Italy during the World War. She was 15 years old. She was born in 1930. So in 1945, when the war ended, she was 15 years old and she survived. And then she got married, and all kinds of things, positive and negative, happened to her. But she always maintained a positive attitude. And this lady's a
Oh,
fantastic lady. I totally love her. She's 92 years old today, precisely. Uh, and she, well, I'll talk about her later. Let's continue reading here, please.
Mitch?
Mitch, can you please?
Mm, here is the premise of the blue zones. If you can optimize your lifestyle, you may gain back an extra decade, a good life you'll otherwise miss. What's the best way to optimize your lifestyle? Emulate emulate the practice we found in each of the blue zones. Longevity pioneer. In 1550, Italian Luigi Cornaro wrote one of the first longevity bestsellers. His book, The Art of Living Long, said that the life could be extended through practicing moderation. His book will be translated into French, English, Dutch, and German. Cornaro may have been onto something. Sources differ on his exact age. He lived well into the
Yes.
90s and possibly beyond.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mitch. So, what do you imagine this book said? The Art of Living Longer. What do you think
Uh,
it was about?
Mm,
Showing a lot of good habits that we usually don't know.
Could be, absolutely, yes, thank you. What do you think, Mickey, that could have happened in this book?
yeah, probably the book says about uh, have a balance in your life,
Okay.
do the things with moderation, and how, well, I think that I forget his name, the emotions and the way how you react to the events that happen to your life may affect positive or negative to your life. So probably about about it too.
Yeah, they affect positively or negatively, right? That is true. Totally true. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you, Mickey. Well, let's read the next section, which is facts about aging, please. Can you read it, please?
Yeah. Facts about aging. When taken together, the Blue Sounds yielded 9 powerful lessons to achieve a longer, better life. But before we get into the details, I think it's crucial to understand a few things about just how people age and establish some basic principles and definitions. How long can each of us expect to live? What really happens to our bodies when we age? Why can't we just take a pill to extend our lives? How can we live longer? How can we live better? And why does changing our lifestyles add more good years?
Okay, these are good questions. These are good questions, and we rarely ask these questions to ourselves. At least I don't ask these questions too often to
Yeah,
myself, of course, right? For example, I have thought about this. How long could I expect to live? If I live 75 or 80, I'd be more than happy, right? But that's 20 years more, 30 years more. Wow, I say, wow, I'm getting close, right? And I am your dad's age. And he was my classmate in school 35 years ago.
really?
35 years ago, yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, we used to play football together. We used to go to classes together to have fun. I mean, there were 200 students, right? And we were all friends. But now we're in this age where you are the age we were one generation ago, right? My daughters
Hmm.
are a bit older than you. Well, Sophie is your age, Mickey, and Mitch is younger.
Yeah.
So you guys and my daughters have the age that your dad and myself had when we first met in university in college. So one generation has already gone, right?
Wow.
And thank God we're here. I mean, your dad is healthy. I believe I am healthy too. So, but um, when you think about that, you get surprised on how fast life goes,
Yeah.
right?
That's right.
You just blink your eyes and say, "What? Now my sons are the age that I used to have when I was in college, right?" So the second question is more technical. What really happens when our bodies age? When we age, what happens when we age? Do you know? Or do you think about that?
Mm, the mm, well, yeah,
Mm,
the way how our body reacts to the ordinary situations change. The way in how we act to uh, our skin start to not compensate, but like
Deteriorate a little bit, yes.
yeah, exactly. And well, our energy decrease too.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But exactly, do you know? I mean, it's difficult to know, but what is the biology of aging, right? The biology of aging is kind of interesting too. So, what is the biology of aging? Becoming older. What is the biology? What happens to the tissues, right? What happens to the blood vessels, as you said, to the skin? Why does it get more swollen or is not so fine as when you're young? So everything changes, but that's a chemical or biochemical reaction. The process of the biology aging. If you type this in internet, you're gonna get a lot of interesting answers. Biology of aging. Let's see.
Mm, probably is in our cells.
The
And
cells. Yeah.
yeah, uh, have a lot of has a lot of damage. And the way in how they worked changed for the damage that the cells received.
Yeah. Exactly.
And, and well, at the end, the cell dead.
Yeah. The cells die. Yeah, that is true.
Right.
Now the question: how can we live better? I'm not talking about yourselves. I mean, you have a wonderful life, great lifestyle. Uh, myself, I live happy, but in general, how can people live better? How can
Mm,
people, by the masses, by the thousands, have a better life, better conditions, better, yeah, live better in general?
uh, well, I think that having good habits
Yeah, okay, but let's talk about having good habits. But how do you establish good habits massively? I'm talking
No,
massively.
okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, I know that it's a good idea. It's a great idea. Actually, it's a fantastic idea. Get good habits, but how do people establish or get good habits massively
uh, with help with the media.
with the media?
Communication.
Mm,
Okay.
well, I think that with um, education is the key. If the people don't have this education to eat healthy, to do exercise, probably their habits not gonna be the best. So I think that all starts in education.
Yes. Yes. Totally agree with what you say. With what Mitch says. What else? What else do we do? Let's say that one day you become the presidents or the majors or the governors of an entity. Let's say the majors of Irapuato, Mitch, the new major of Irapuato, Mickey, the new major or the governors of the state, and you want to improve the quality of life of people, right? You want people to live longer, to live better. What do you do in massive scale? Okay, you proclaim massive education, which is absolutely true. Totally agree. Massive education. Yeah, massive for the masses, right? Not for a few, but for the masses. What else do you guys do to produce a better quality of life for the population in general?
Mm,
Uh, about the vehicles, uh, oh, I forget the word. Promote the vehicles less contaminated, the ones who which less contaminate the air to breathe better.
So you're gonna put some kind of ban the vehicles that pollute the environment. You would ban or prohibit. Ban is the same as prohibit. You would ban or prohibit the transit of
May,
vehicles that pollute.
well, not that kind of prohibit because I understand of a lot of people can buy a vehicle new.
New
Uh,
vehicles, right?
then I don't know if increase the prices of the mechanic stuff of the fits that kind of vehicles and the put lower prices in I don't know electronic cars.
Okay, lower prices for electric cars. Okay, that's a great idea. Actually, some people like I believe Tesla has tried to do this. I believe. I don't know if that is true or not, Mickey. Do you know about that?
yeah, I think that they try uh, to have lower prices to attack the different markets. Well, yeah, to their products sell in other markets, not only in USA and Europe and some parts of Mexico.
Okay. I truly like these ideas. Okay, massive education promotes vehicles contaminate less air. Uh, what else?
Mm, could be uh, given taxes to the enterprises who more contaminate that pollute more.
That pollute more, right? So
Pollute more.
increase taxes to companies that pollute more. All right, that's a great idea too. Increase taxes to the companies that pollute more, like Pemex, right? Like Pemex,
Hmm.
for example, right?
Yeah.
Begin with, they would tax themselves. Okay, well, these are all great ideas and not unreasonable. I mean, these are reasonable, very reasonable ideas. Reasonable ideas, absolutely good ideas. Okay, thank you guys. Let's continue about the facts about aging. Okay, why does changing our lifestyle add more good years? Well, sometimes we have practices which are not very healthy, like sleeping bad, uh, eating bad, getting over stress. Insecurity in a city increases the stress levels that citizens have.
Yeah.
If we live in an insecure city, our levels of stress go up, and consequently, there is a trend to have more coronary diseases. And the more coronary diseases, the more casualties, the more deaths the population will suffer. Okay, let's see how to answer these questions. You want to read here, Mitch, please? You want to continue reading here?
Mhm. To answer these and other fundamental questions, I asked some of the world's experts to describe their latest research in everyday terms. Together, these scientists represent the best thinking in biology, geriatrics. What means geriatrics?
Geriatrics, geriatria, when a person devotes his time to older people. Geriatrics is the science that deals with older people.
Okay. And the science of longevity. Stephen N. Austad, PhD, studies the cellular and molecular mechanisms of aging at the University of Texas or Texas Health Center at San Antonio, a professor at the Sam and Ann Barshop Center of Longevity and Aging. He is the author of Why We Age, What Science is discovering about the body's journey through life.
Okay.
Robert N. Butler, MD, is president and CEO of the International Longevity Center of USA, a policy and education research center in New York City, a professor of geriatrics and adult development at Mount Sinai Medical Center. He is the author of Why Survive Being Old in America.
Okay, thank you very much, Mitch. Let's read the other guys. Mickey, please. We have three additional people, which seem to be pretty smart as well.
Yeah. Jack M. Guralnik, MD, PhD, is chief of the Laboratory of Epidemiology, Demography, and Biometry at the National Institute of Aging in Bethesda,
Bethesda or
Mar-
Marland, right?
Maryland. Yeah. Uh, Robert Kane, MD, is director of the Center of Aging and the Minnesota Geriatric Education Center at the University of Minnesota in Minneapolis. He is a professor in the School of Public Health, where he holds an endowed chair in long-term care and aging. And the last one is Thomas T. Pearls, MD, MPH, is director of the New England Centenarian Study and associate professor of medicine and geriatrics at the Boston University School of Medicine, and author of Living to 100 Lessons in Living to Your Maximum Potential at any age.
Okay. Now it says that he has interviewed each of these experts separately, and he has
Mm,
sorted the best of their answers to each question. And this is what they told him. So, what is exactly aging? What did Robert Kane say, Mitch? What was Robert Kane's answer, please?
Where exactly is aging? Robert King says there is very profound question. Number one, aging starts at birth. If you think about it, there is a constant development that occurs within all species. You can think of it as the balance between the individual and environment. In essence, we can think of aging as a loss of coping mechanisms, failure to be able to maintain internal control and balance. We start out as children and we gradually, what means accrue,
Accumulate.
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 accumulate various changes in our characteristics. Children are susceptible to the environment and must be protected. In the case of humans, we probably peak in our mind 20 seconds. Yeah,
20s,
in
in our
our
mid 20s, mid
Twenties.
20s.
uh, in our mid 20s, we hold our own for a while. Then at some point, perhaps in our mind
Mid
40s,
mid
we
40s,
start
Mid
mid 40s.
mid 40s. Ah, we start to decline.
Decline.
line.
Decline. Some people would say we actually begin to decline at age 30. It depends on the system that you track.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Look at these two faces. What do you notice as a difference? Very clearly.
The skin.
The skin, right? The skin on the left picture has on the left face has deteriorated drastically, right?
Mhm.
What about the eyes? Do you notice a difference?
Mm,
The color?
the
Ah,
apart of that, they seems like tired eyes.
Well, yeah.
The lines around it.
Yeah, they start to get wrinkles, right? Wrinkles is another issue that,
Rules.
yes,
Mhm.
wrinkles is something that men and women start to notice when we age and that we want to hide or avoid having, right? We don't want to frown because then say we get wrinkles here or in the eyes, everywhere, and we want to hide them or deny that we have them or pretend that, oh, it's because I am angry, but normally I don't have wrinkles. And
Mhm.
we try to negate them at some point. Some people, not everyone, but some people try to negate that we have them, and it's common, it's normal, and it's very. If well, I don't want to say adjectives. The skin is often where we first notice the outward signs of the aging process. You notice that people start getting wrinkles,
Yeah.
and that's normal.
wrinkles is arrugas.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Wrinkles, wrinkles. We start getting wrinkles, and that
Mm,
is normal. I mean, we cannot avoid them.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's read a little bit more and then we discuss some more about this. Who wants to read Old Age, please?
Me, teacher.
Okay, please.
Old age is another period when the balance favors the environment. Older people need help in protecting themselves. The frailty we associate with old age is basically the loss of autonomy, the inability to withstand external pressures and perturbations. Aging includes both the positive and negative changes that occur. A gerontologist will define aging as the risk of dying. Irrespective of the presence of disease, there is, given this fitness,
Finiteness.
finiteness of a lifespan, a continuous risk of dying. In most cases, this increases as our age increases. Other factors can change the risk of dying as well as aging. So it's not that aging alone is the determiner. Determiner?
Determiner.
Determiner. But is the overaging change. People have been searching for biological markers of aging, and so far nobody has found any that are absolutely constant and separate from the onset of diseases.
Okay. So people have been looking for how to extend the life expectancy successfully besides. Do you know what the life expectancy was in the 30s, in the 20s? I mean, how long people lived 100 years ago? In other
Uh,
words, what was the life expectancy in the 1930s? Do you know about that?
Around 50 and 60s?
I think about that. Maybe 50 or 60, right? To live in the 50s or 60s. Can we find out? Can we look that up in the internet to see how
Mhm.
long people lived when they were? in their 30s, in the 1930s.
Mexico?
No, well, in the world and in Mexico, yes. Mexico and the world, please.
Mhm.
Long-
Because we know that in 2020,
Around of 33 or 34 years.
really, that
Mm-hmm.
was
Or even 40.
or 40. What was the life expectancy? Imagine
Truly.
now people live 75 to 78 in women. Life expectancy, and this was life expectancy in the 1930s. What has happened? Why do you think people have extended their life expectancy so much?
The
Mm,
science increase and give us more knowledge about healthy and give us medicines.
Medicines, exactly. Yes. What do you think, Mickey? Thank you, Mitch.
yeah, we improved in medicines, in knowledge about it, about the health, and I think that the technology influenced too because certain type of works, uh, well, some of them, not all of them, none all of them, but some type of works change because we start to use machines and not only the or body, right?
Okay, okay. I totally agree. Yes, that is absolutely true. Um, I Yeah, it's also at that time. Remember that little bit after that there was a war.
Oh
And
yeah, that's true.
war is a social regulator, which is terrible, and I hate it. But it's normally a social regulator of life, which is horrible to say, but it's true. It's a social
Hmm.
regulator of life. There are some whales, and it's hard to believe, but I read this somewhere. Whales, when in excess, go to the seashore and commit suicide. What do you think about this? Do you believe this, or do you think it's fake news? Do you think this
What
is
is
true?
what is seashore?
The edge of the sea,
What?
the edge, the orilla del mar.
Oh,
Do you think this is true or this is fake news?
uh,
Mm,
I I think in part fake and in part true. But I think are not for the disease of the whales. May but it is maybe for the pollution.
Okay, could be. Is there a way for us to find out if this idea is true or is false? How can we find out if this suggestion that I read a long time ago, I never checked if it was true or false? Is there a way for us?
Studies.
um, I think that I read something about it. Was for the bombs, right? Well, I think that like the how can I say it? The sound that provocate the bombs and that stuff that makes the whales commit suicide, something
Well,
like
I
that.
heard something like that. Yeah, yeah, I heard something like that. Let me check this out in. I'm gonna ask this to Mr. Google. When
Mhm.
or do whales ever uh, commit suicide? I don't think it's true. I don't think it's true, but maybe it was a fake news. Why do whales commit suicide? Answers maybe sonar. I don't know if this is true or not, but maybe not. I heard this. Big whales beach themselves and die in agony after exposure to naval sonar. Sea mammals suffered. Royal Society. There was millions of years turn western calibrated driving machines plunge. Okay, they say that there is a calibrated driving machines. Uh, okay, well there must be a reason. Sonars. Well, it says that it's due to sonars, uh, and they become scared. Okay, so it's due to fear. It's due to fear. They
Mm.
are scared of some noises in the ocean, and that's why they do that. Okay, but it's a social regulator, and war is a regulator. But in reality, the positive thing is that life expectancy has increased drastically, and that is great for everyone. Uh, but also, we need to fear a little bit or be wary of war. In other words, we need to be protected against war because sometimes it can be used as a social regulator to get rid of the elderly or of the old people socially, or I don't know if it's politically, but okay, the thing is
Probably
that
both.
war or both, right? Well,
Yeah.
let's continue reading this topic. Okay, can you continue reading here, please? People look at, for example, here.
Mitch.
Mhm. Eh, People look at, for example, the loss of accommodation in the lands of the eye. Most people become farsighted,
Farsighted.
usually
Outside.
farsighted, usually in their early 40s. It doesn't happen to everyone, so you can't say it's a universal sign of aging. Graying of hair, loss of collagen in the skin, all of these are changes that have been described with regard to aging. There is a change in the body composition as people get older. It can obviously be influenced by exercise and diet, but in general, we lose muscle
Those muscle.
mass and gain body fat. The immune system changes with age and becomes less competent, but again, not in any universal way that we can say it's a characteristic of aging.
Okay. Thank you very much. So they are basically saying the same thing that you guys said. For example, Stephen Ostart, can you read what he said, Mickey, please? And which is
Mhm.
what you said, guys.
Stephen Outstadt, I will define aging as the gradual loss of physical capabilities. Whether you're talking about the ability to run, to think, all those things, is a gradual and progressive loss of physical and mental abilities. The ability to do things that you previously could do. What it means is that basically you're not designed to maintain your physical integrity forever.
Okay. That happens with a plant as well. Have you ever given roses or flowers to, I don't know, to your mom, to your girlfriends, to your friends, Mitch, to your dad, or to your mom?
Yeah.
Have you ever given flowers or roses?
Hmm.
Mhm.
Do you know how they age also? Because flowers age and finally they dry up and they die. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Well, that's a normal process, right? So the same thing happens to humans, except that in a flower it takes days, and in human it takes years or decades. But it's basically the same.
Yeah. It's a process.
It's a process. Well, uh, I don't want to continue with this because I'm getting depressed a little bit now.
Mm.
Oh,
It's a joke. But eventually, everyone gets older and things become too. I mean, the physical and mental abilities start to go down. But it's a good project, maybe if you want to explore this book a little bit more by your own, on your own,
Yeah.
let me just show you other things that it has, the comments from various scientists, and then okay, here it talks about leading killers, right? Okay, what these are the leading killers in the U.S. Can you read them, please? The first killers in the U.S.
Yeah. Heart disease for both U.S. men and women. Women? Yeah,
Women.
women. The leading cause of death.
Okay.
Oh,
The second largest killer in the U.S.
cancer. The second largest killer of American men and women.
Exactly, and then they have preventions and so on. So uh, they start talking then about um, smart diets, smart diets. So it really has many interesting things. Doing exercise, as you were saying, uh, maximize good years. So it is a good book to read. I'd like to share the book with you guys,
Sure.
and maybe we could do something for next class to talk about it. And I think we have something for today, don't we? Don't we have like a presentation or a topic to develop?
Yeah.
Okay, let's leave time for that then, please. Let me share the book with you guys. It's a great book called let me The Blue Zones Lessons for Living Longer.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay, here. Okay, and let's go to our topic of today, please. Then, if you can, if you want. So, who wants to present something?
Mm, my teacher, just wait me a little bit.
Nikki, you are in the computer?
Laptop.
Ugh. Okay.
Oh, teacher.
Yeah.
Well, all our laptops are the same model, and I realized that my mom uh, took my laptop, so I don't
Okay,
have
then.
the document.
Don't
But
worry. Don't worry.
I could talk about it.
Yeah, sure. What is
Um,
what is the topic of today, Mickey?
well, what's about food too?
Okay.
And first, I'm gonna read it, and later after that, I'm gonna explain it with my own words.
Okay, perfect.
Good. Okay. Well, food is one of the basic needs of the human being. It is required for the normal functioning of the body parts and for a healthy growth. And well, yeah, in few words, food is one of the basic needs that of the human beings need, and we require food for the correct function of our body and for a healthy growth. And the definition is that food is any substance composed of carbohydrates, water, fats, and or proteins that is either eaten or drunk by any animals, including humans, for nutrition or pleasure. And yeah, items considered food may be sourced from plants, animals, or another kingdoms such as fungus. How can you say fungus?
Fungus, yes.
Fungus. Yeah. And well, on the other hand, food science is a study concerned with all technical aspects of food, beginning with harvesting or slaughtering and ending with its cooking and consumption. It is considered one of the life science and is usually considered distinct from the field of nutrition. And well, now I'm gonna talk about the different fields. Uh, for example, food science have different fields, and there are microbiology, chemical engineering, biochemistry, and many others. And there exist obviously subdisciplines of food science and include food processing, food safety, food microbiology, food preservation, food engineering, product development, sensory analysis, food chemistry, food packaging, food technology, and food physics. And I'm gonna explain all of them in uh, how can I say en una manera breve,
In a
breve,
brief manner, brief
in a
manner.
brief manner. Yeah. Well, first, food processing. Food processing is the set of methods and techniques used to transform raw ingredients into food and or to transform food into other forms for consumption by humans or animals either in the home or by the food processing industry. The second one is food safety. In food safety, we search the causes and the prevention and communication dealing with foodborne illness. Yeah.
Illness.
Mhm. The third one is food microbiology. And in food microbiology, it dedicates to search the positive and negative interactions between microorganisms and foods and how they uh, read one each other.
Okay.
Um, the fourth one is food engineering, and well, we know that in general, engineering is like the process that you use to transform something. So, if we're talking about food engineering, is the industrial processes used to manufacture food. The fifth one is product development, and well, this subdiscipline is about the invention of new food products. For example, I consider that the proteins and some supplements are new ones, so it could be like an example of product development.
Okay.
The sixth is the sensor analysis, and this is about I think that like the study of how uh, the food is how food is perceived by the consumer senses. For example, the taste, the smell, the touch. Yeah, we use our five senses. Yeah, I say correctly.
Yes.
And yeah, and the seventh, food chemistry. In food chemistry, we search about the molecular composition of food and the envelopment of these molecules in chemical reactions. And the eighth, food packaging. Uh, this is an important topic for me because, well, I'm studying international trade, so I read about it um time ago, and is the study of how packaging is used to preserve food after it has been processed and contained through distribution. So in food packaging, you search which package is better for your product. For example, if you have a fruit, probably you need to use an special package and other stuff. And food technology is the technological aspects of food. And the last one is food physics. In food physics, you see about the physical aspects of food, such as viscosity, creaminess, and the texture in general. And and well, I have a little like summary about the basic composition of food, but I don't know if we have time to explain it.
Yeah, well, we can do 2, 3 minutes if you have time. I don't know, Mitch. Mickey, if you guys have time, we can do 2, 3 minutes to talk about that because it's really interesting. Mitch, are you okay with that?
Mhm.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead, Mickey, please, and then talk about that, please.
Okay, well, our body requires carbohydrates, proteins, fat, enzymes, vitamins, and minerals for a healthy growth. So, some people think that the fats are bad for health, but everything needs to be measured. So, our body requires all of them: carbohydrates, proteins, fats, all of them. So, however, our body cannot produce all these nutrients. Hence, food is the only source to obtain these nutrients in an adequate quantity. That's what I said. And if we don't get these nutrients in sufficient amount, then we may suffer from a number of health problems. For example, if you don't eat enough protein, of the protein that you need, or if you don't eat the enough carbohydrates, fats, probably you start to feel tired. You start to don't have energy to develop your daily activities and affect it in all the aspects of your life. So apart of that, we can have a lot of health problems. So a balanced diet is always recommended, which is defined as a diet containing, I said before, carbohydrates, protein, fat, and dietary fibers, vitamins, and minerals in a right proportion, sorry.
Okay.
So Uh, a random fact is that carbohydrates, proteins, and fats supply 90% of the dry weight of the diet and 100% of the energy. So we need to try to mix all of these type of how can I say? No, there are not food. There are like how can I? Yeah,
Components, ingredients.
components
All right.
uh, in our food because we need all of them and we need to have a good balance between carbohydrates, proteins, fats to have a good health and obviously a good energy for the activities of our day. That's a little bit of my topic.
Fantastic. Fantastic, Mickey. Very, very interesting. Mitch, do you want to prepare something for maybe what tomorrow, right? Or next week? How do you feel? How is your time schedule?
Mm.
You're
For me, it's
busy,
good
right?
tomorrow, but I don't know if um,
Oh, jeez.
If you have time for something, if whoever can do something for tomorrow, that'd be great. Or maybe next week, Mitch. If, I know that sometimes we get busy in the school and we have lots of homeworks and projects. But if you guys have time, you can do something for tomorrow. Maybe something brief, like even talk about this. What you can do is you can take a look at the index,
mhm.
take a few
I
notes at the book, and then say, "Well, I'm gonna give my opinion about this and that." What about that idea?
actually
Yeah,
I
it's sure
want
it's
to
perfect.
talk about the packaging hygiene and codex, but I think Mickey explained it pretty well and I got short.
Well,
Yeah.
you can give your own viewpoint, Mitch, tomorrow if you wish, or next week.
Mhm.
Okay.
For me, it's better, teacher.
Yes. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, Mickey. So, anyways, we have class tomorrow, do we? Or Friday? Or when is it better for you guys? Tomorrow is okay?
For me, tomorrow is perfect.
What about you,
Tomorrow
Mitch?
or Saturday?
I prefer tomorrow.
Okay, tomorrow is probably better for me too. If you have time, Mitch, if you can, tomorrow, that'd be great. Same time, or what do you think?
Yep.
Yeah, at same time, teacher, please.
Okay, 1:30 to 3, 1:40 to 3:10. To
Uh, yes, teacher is better to 140 to 310 because sometimes there are traffic and
there's
I
traffic.
need to go to the bathroom and
Okay,
that's
don't worry.
so.
Okay, don't worry. So, okay, so we meet tomorrow 1:40 then. All right.
Yes,
Okay.
teacher. Thank you very much.
Okay, guys. Well, take care. Have a wonderful afternoon and enjoy.
Have a
Take care.
great day, teacher. Thank you
You
so
Thank you very
too.
much.
much.
Take care.
Yes,
Have
ma'am.
a wonderful day. See you. Bye bye.
Yes, ma'am. Bye.
Bye. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.